Hello students, welcome to the channel. Today we'll discuss similar sounding words that are tested on SAT Writing and ACT English. This is part of the word choice question series, but this is a specific kind of question. So let's look at this. Question 1. The conditions that iridescence requires are far more elusive than those that produce rainbows, making iridescent clouds comparatively rare. So here I'm speaking about the conditions for iridescence. And I know that those conditions have been compared to the conditions that produce rainbows. And then I'm told that because of that, iridescent clouds are comparatively rare, which is to say that the conditions that produce iridescence are perhaps not as common or not as frequently seen as the conditions that produce rainbows, which makes iridescent clouds rare. So what the word I'm looking for is something that is not common and something that is rare. And I have allusive here, and in the options I have elusive. So the word that means not common or rare is elusive, right? It comes from the word elude, which is to, for example, the thief eluded the police, which means that the thief ran away from the police. The police were not able to catch the thief. So something that is elusive is hard to obtain, is hard to get, something that is rare, right? So that is what elusive means. Allusive comes from the word allude, which is used to refer to something, especially in the context of to say the story alludes to the myth of Ramayana, right? Which is to say that the story has similarities with the myth of Ramayana, right? So to allude is to refer to a historical text or a myth or something that is well known, right? So it's a sort of reference. So that obviously doesn't make sense. So I'll cancel both A and B because they have allusive. Now between C and D, I have to obviously say more elusive than, right? THAN, I have to use the comparative because I'm comparing the conditions for iridescence with the conditions for rainbows. And I'm saying that the conditions for iridescence are more elusive than those for rainbows. So I have to use THAN, not THAN. And so the right answer is option C. Next question. Eventually, Tweed and his gang were persecuted for a number of charges, including fraud and larceny, and many of them were sent to jail. So here I'm speaking about a gang led by someone known as Tweed, and he and his gang were ultimately sent to jail on charges of fraud and larceny. Larceny is theft. So I'm talking about being made to face law, being made to face procedures of the court. And the word for that is prosecution, right? Prosecution. So when someone is prosecuted, they are basically made to face the law. And then based on the results of that process, they could be either released or sent to jail. So I'm looking at prosecution, right? The sentence has persecution, and persecution has a very different meaning. To be persecuted is to be victimized for your identity, right? For example, Jews were persecuted in Nazi Germany. They were victimized because of their Jewish identity. So this is a very different word and it doesn't fit the context here. So I'll eliminate A and B. Now, when you're prosecuted on a number of charges. That is how the verb prosecuted is used, because it is to say that those are the charges and you're prosecuted on those charges, right? So this is idiomatic usage. This is how the verb takes a certain preposition. So it's not with, it's on. You're prosecuted on a number of charges. So the right answer is option D. Question 3. She encourages young people to take math and science courses and learn a computer programming language Doing so, she believes, can make science a part of everyday life. Now, here we are speaking of someone who wants young people to familiarize themselves with science, to take up science courses, math courses, and learn a computer language. And she feels that this would make science a part of everyday life. So I have options where a part is presented as one word and it is presented as two words, a part of. So I'm basically saying that it has to be this, right? Science has to become a part of, a component of, right? It has to become basically something like a smaller subset of everyday life, right? This apart is like a preposition, which means they were kept apart by someone, right? That is, they were kept in separate areas, in separate places. They were kept apart. So that doesn't convey the sense of science being a part of something. So any option which has apart as one word is not correct. Now, what is the difference between every day when I write it as one word and every day when I write it as two words? Every day as one word is an adjective, right? For example, everyday life, everyday concerns, everyday problems. In all of these cases, I'm using everyday as an adjective for life, concerns, and problems. So when it's used as an adjective, it would be used as one word. Every day, here, every day would mean the day is a noun. It's like a separate thing, and there is no adjective representation for this. For example, I see him every day. I see him every day, right? So I don't have to put every and day together because that's not an adjective. Day itself is the noun, and every here is the adjective for day. I see him each day. I see him every day. So when it's an adjective, it's one word. And in this question, it's an adjective because I'm saying everyday life. And so I have to use it as one word, which means that the right answer is option C. Okay, question 4. Attention to the ozone problem and public concern about its effects contributed to the development of the Montreal Protocol, an international agreement to phase out the use of certain ozone depleting substances. So here I'm talking about the ozone problem and the fact that the public understood what effects this problem could have, what consequences it could have, what were the implications of the ozone problem. That led to the development of a protocol which tended or which aimed to diminish the use of ozone depleting substances. So I know that I'm looking for a word which means consequences, public concern about the consequences of ozone depletion, about the results of ozone depletion, about the implications of ozone depletions. So the best word for this is effects. Effects with an E, right? Affect is the verb form, right? How does this ruling affect me? How does this problem affect me, right? I'm using it as a verb in these sentences, right? How does this problem affect me? The effects of this problem will last a long time. The effects of this problem, that's a noun. The effects of this problem will last a long time. So here I'm talking about concern about the effects of ozone problem. So it's a noun. So I have to use the E word, not the A word. So I can eliminate option A and option C. Now between IT apostrophe S and ITS, ITS is the pronoun and IT apostrophe S is the abbreviation for it is. Like it's a great day today, it is a great day today. When I say that, I would put IT apostrophe S. But here I'm using it as a pronoun. Attention to the ozone problem and public concern about its effects, the effects of the ozone problem. Its is the pronoun for ozone problems. And since it's a pronoun, I have to use ITS, not IT apostrophe S. And so the right answer is option D. Okay, let's do question 5. Rather than a coarse drawing, the young cartoonist should have employed a more subtle mean to criticize our political representatives. So here I'm speaking of a cartoonist who has made a coarse drawing. A coarse drawing would be a harsh drawing, something which is extremely critical, something which punches you in the gut. So rather than do that, the author is saying the cartoonist should have employed a more subtle mean to criticize the political representative. So there is criticism of the political class that the cartoonist was aiming for, and I'm looking at something which is the opposite of coarse, opposite of harsh, and the word for that is subtle. Subtle is something which is nuanced, something which is measured, something which is not extreme. So as opposed to the coarse drawing, a subtle drawing should have made sense, right? The other word that I see is stubble, and stubble completely does not fit this context. Stubble is, one meaning of stubble is the dry farm waste, right? For example, we had to burn the stubble because there was no way to dispose of it. So any dry farm waste is called stubble. And stubble is also used to refer to the male beard, right? When very little of it is visible, right? So a stubble is like very little beard on a man's face. So none of those fit the context. So I have to use subtle, which is nuanced, right? So C and D go. Okay, between mean and means, I would have to go with means. A subtle means is a subtle way of criticizing our political representatives, right? A subtle method, right? That is what means stands for, a subtle means of doing something. Mean is just the word mean, right? What do you mean by that? Or it could have other meanings, like mean in mathematics is the average, right? But here I'm looking at subtle way of criticizing someone, a subtle method. And the word for that is means. So that is, I need S. So option A is not correct. The right answer is option B. Okay, question 6. For those who value liberty and freedom of speech as non-negotiable, it is a matter of principle to demand that the offending playwright be released from prison. So again, what is the context telling me? The context is telling me that there is a playwright, somebody who writes plays for a living, and he's referred to as offending playwright, which means that he has offended someone, offended a constituency, offended some people, and he has been put into prison for that, right? And the author is saying that because freedom of speech and freedom of liberty, they are non-negotiable, they cannot be negotiated. For people who believe that they are non-negotiable, it is a matter of principle to demand that this person who has supposedly offended a constituency needs to be released from prison. So a matter of principle here would mean a matter of the central morality, like what you think, what you believe. So a matter of morality, a matter of conscience, a matter of what you stand for. So the word for that is principle, which ends with LE. Principle with an AL is basically, it means primary, right? So for example, who is the principal actor in this production? Who is the primary actor in this production, right? So that is what principal with an AL stands for. Principal with an AL also refers to the head of a school, right? The school principal. But here I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to a matter of morality, a matter of what you believe in, matter of principle, right? So any option with AL has to be eliminated. Now, what about demand versus command? The playwright is in prison, and I'm making a demand that he be released from prison. I can't command that he be released from prison. A command is given by somebody who is in a superior position, right? So a senior officer commanded the junior to do something, right? That's a command, like an order. I can make a request that this person should be released from prison because he has the freedom of speech. So in the context, demand is better than command. Command would not make sense here. And so the right answer is option B. Right, so those were 6 quick questions on similar sounding words. Hope this exercise was useful. If it was, please hit like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comment section what other videos you'd like me to upload. I'll see you guys in a new video soon. Take care. Bye-bye.